Hello.
Today is February, what is today? February 17th?
Yep, February 17th.
Sorry, we forgot to put our microphones on. And we're running a little bit late because I just uploaded a video. So today is February 17th. It is day 70 of the cruise. We are in Hilo, Hawaii.
Yep.
Docked currently. And I just posted a video about the activities in Hilo on TikTok. YouTube is coming soon. And today we wanted to talk about option 1 and option 2 for the choices we were given for the itinerary change, since we can no longer safely go through the Red Sea or the Suez Canal. So which one do you guys want to talk about first? I think maybe option 1. So Steve just finally looked at the, oh shit, hold on. I hope that doesn't screw it up. Okay, it looks like I'm still going. Option 1 is called Immersive Africa. So the change in this one starts after Dubai and catches up with the, and so that, sorry, and Dubai is, we leave Dubai on May 9th, 2024, and it catches up with the original itinerary in Ravenna, Italy on the 20th of June. So there is a good month and 10 days of difference between the original itinerary and Immersive Africa 1. So we start off with 4 cruising days. Yay, I made it to one of your lives. Hey, Jackie. Yeah, so 4 days of cruising after we leave Dubai. And then I know I'm going to mispronounce a whole bunch of these. So if anyone wants to share corrections in the chat, feel free to correct me on any of these. So Mahe, Victoria, the Seychelles, that's on May 14th. And La Digue Island, also in the Seychelles. So 2 spots in the Seychelles for the 14th and 15th. On the 16th, we're going to be cruising. And on the 17th, on Siriana,
Diego
Suarez, Madagascar. So one, I think that's the only stop. Yes, only one stop in Madagascar, but still very cool.
Yeah.
And I'm going to point out, I'm going to talk about the times too. So the the Mahe in the Seychelles starts at 9 a.m. and all aboard, or the departing time, so the all aboard is probably going to be an hour sooner than this, says 6 p.m. In La Digue, Seychelles, we arrive at 7 a.m. And again, by the time it takes us to, yes, the Seychelles are gorgeous. Anyway, by the time it takes us to clear the port authority and all the administrative stuff that needs to happen, it's usually about an hour after we get there. And then departing at 5, which means we'll have roughly between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. at the second stop in the Seychelles. May 16th, we're cruising. Sorry, I hit the microphone. And on the 17th, and Siriana, Diego Suarez, Madagascar. So we arrive at 7 a.m. and depart at 5 p.m. So again, that means 8 to 4, roughly, is how, yeah. Option 1 is a once in a lifetime itinerary. We're going to be talking about what's been going on around the ship for as far as the 2 choices, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why we think maybe Royal Caribbean presented the options to us in this way.
Yeah.
So then we're in Port Louis, Mauritius, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pointe de Galets, Reunion Island. I don't know where that is.
Reunion Island. Okay, me neither.
7 to 3, so very short amount of time there. Where was I at? Oh,
Reunion
and then 3 more days of cruising. Then we are in Port Elizabeth, South Africa for a day, and then Mossel Bay, South Africa, and then Cape Town, South Africa for 2 days. And then we have another. Why would people want to choose option 2 anyway? We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Reunion Island is between Madagascar and Mauritius. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you for clarifying that for us. Luderitz, Namibia, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wallis Bay, Namibia, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. So we have quite a long day there, or at least into the evening, which is kind of nice. A lot of these ports, we don't really get to be there for the evening. So like wanting to get out and see some things at the, and this is true for all of the stops we've made. You can usually get out and get a lunch somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to try the local cuisine, it's pretty easy most of the time to get a lunch, but very rarely, I don't know what that's doing. Okay. But very rarely do we actually get to get a dinner in a place, which I think is a little bit more indicative of what the local cuisine culture is like. Just my personal opinion. Okay, so after the 2 stops in Namibia, we have 2 more days of cruising. And then another stop in Luanda, Angola. 2 more days of cruising. Then we're in Ghana. And then Ivory Coast, 2 more days of cruising. Dakar, Senegal, 2 more days of cruising. Tenerife, Canary Islands, 1 more day of cruising. Gibraltar, United Kingdom, 2 more days of cruising. And then we get to Corfu, Greece, and Bari, Italy, and Ravenna, Italy. For the last 3 days are stops in Italy. So let's see. Especially if they are working ports. I don't know what that was in reference to. No. I'm trying to scroll. Yeah, so working ports does make things a little bit difficult for us. It says we're going. There's 16 people on, so I'm going to say, go ahead. Usually they get they try to make it less difficult for us to get around by getting a shuttle bus that take us through the port. Now, Hilo is a working port too, but they have everything sort of roped off so we could get through. There we go. Okay, so it's working. So let's see, Greenlee, what do you mean it's not? Okay. Where's the next port after Hawaii? So we have 3 ports in Hawaii, actually. So today we're at Hilo, tomorrow it's Kona, which is a tender port.
Opposite side of the big island.
Right, and then we're in Oahu for 2 days, or a day and a half, really.
Yeah. The second port for Hawaii was supposed to have been on Maui, but once the fire hit, they changed it to just a second day on the big island, but over in different Kona, over in that community.
So somebody asked if it says if it says which ports are tender ports, and it does not say on this piece of paper I have in front of me right now, but I was on, sorry.
Yeah, tender, there's one tender.
Okay, so yes, I'm sorry, it does. So that's the T?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 4 tender ports for the Immersive Africa experience. And it does say which ones. It is La Digue Island, Seychelles is a tender port. Madagascar is a tender port. Mosul Bay, South Africa is a tender port. And Luderitz, Namibia is also a tender port. So I hope that answers the question. Hi, Jeanette.
Hello.
Given the cruise ship, is anyone taking bets if you will actually make it? No, we're not taking bets yet.
No.
Well, most of all because we haven't selected this actual itinerary yet.
Yeah.
So there is a possibility that we could still be going with option 2. So I was in the meeting the other day. Steve missed it because he was feeling a little seasick. Didn't make it.
Just a little.
But given the level of applause that came up when the first itinerary was announced and shown on the screen, I am fairly certain that we are going to be going with option 1, Immersive Africa. It is a better itinerary in a lot of different ways. It does not have everything. I mean, it includes so much more, but it does, miss some things from the original itinerary, which is frustrating for some people.
Yep.
And so this is how I explained it yesterday. The whole reason that I was so excited when I first saw the World Cruise is because I, back in my 20s, I saw, I can't remember which one, but I think it was Norwegian Cruise Lines that had a 30 day around, or it was around a month-long cruise that had all of the religious centers of the world. So it included Cairo and Istanbul and I'm trying to think of where else, but Petra wasn't necessarily a religious center of the world,
No.
but certainly significant in terms of archaeology and stuff. And so basically around the Mediterranean, Rome was in there, and we're still going to see Rome in this one. But it when I realized that we weren't going to be able to make most of these ports because of the conflict that's going on in the area, I was kind of heartbroken. Kay Greenlee, yeah, life is a gamble.
Exactly.
So Darlene's asking, will they take you on even a one-day safari? We don't know yet, actually.
Yeah, and that goes to with which one that is decided upon, whether it's the option 1 or 2, what actual excursions they're going to make available for us.
Yeah.
And what they're going to actually, there's, how many we're missing? Petra, that was the included one.
Yeah, but we're missing Petra no matter which option. There's no option that includes Petra right now.
It's out. But what other one was, there was Petra?
The pyramids in Egypt.
Was there anything else? Thessalonica that we would have...
I don't...
Yeah, there was one of the...
Maybe Istanbul? Was there wondering... Oh, Artemis, the Temple of Artemis.
Yeah, Temple of Artemis.
The Temple of Artemis.
So there's 3.
So that's in option 2, I think, but not in option 1. So there's a couple of points that have been made from folks that have been talking. I keep thinking you're me because our last names are similar. Okay, sorry. Greenlee and Greeley. Okay, that's hilarious. Where was I going with this? Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Safari, whatever excursions, and what we lose between this one to the original, and then this picking up what they can.
Right. So we will miss out on the Temple of Artemis if we go with option 1 instead of option 2.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to briefly go over option 2. How many days? So this is between May 9th and June 20th. That's where all the changes are happening. So after we leave Dubai, we have 4 days of cruising, which it's the same either way. We do go to Mahe, the Seychelles, so that's the same in both. But instead of the second stop in the Seychelles,
6 days of cruising.
We have 6 days of cruising in a row. Then 2 days in Cape Town, South Africa. And then let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 straight days of cruising. And then we're in Tenerife, Canary Islands, and then 2, 4, 5. Oh, this one still has Istanbul. Okay, so 2, 4, 5 days of cruising, then Istanbul, then another day of cruising. Oh no, sorry, I get it. This has Istanbul. I forgot what I was looking at. So
it's option 2.
Option 2. 1 more day of cruising after Istanbul, and then 2 days in Alexandria, and then cruising, and then we get Athens, Greece, Mykonos, Greece, Santorini, Greece, Chania, Crete, Greece, Olympia, Greece, Corfu, Greece, Bari, Italy, Ravenna, Italy. So, and it's
like 2 days.
2 days there. Because we get there on the 19th at 7 a.m. and we don't leave until the 20th. But it doesn't say when. I guess because that's the end of this
option.
This option and segment.
Yeah.
Or no, actually, it's not the end of the segment because that's just where we meet up with the original itinerary.
Right.
So, I can see some serious clawing the walls. If everyone's like, yes, exactly. So,
what's it called? Penguin. Oh yeah, Penguin Town.
Oh.
Yeah, we have heard of that. Simon Town, Penguin Town. We have heard of that, and that's one big thing we want.
Right.
We want penguins.
We did not get to see penguins when we were in Antarctica, and we're very upset about that.
Yeah.
So, any chance that we have to go see penguins, we are doing that. I don't care what.
Yes.
What we have to do. That's going to be a priority for us.
Yes. Thank you, Katie.
All right. Ain't better than a counselor on a few on board. Oh yeah, no counselors on board, at least as far as I know. Although maybe after
bartenders.
After there's the bartenders. That doesn't really count. Yeah.
Go drown your sorrows.
So nobody wants to be spending 9 days in a row. I mean, I love sailing days because they give us a chance to take naps, and we're really busy all the time. So it's a chance to be, down for a little bit and not feel like you have to cram everything in. Although another part of this is that there's a lot of really cool activities on the ship that we don't have time a lot of times to take part in.
Yep.
I really want to do the rock climbing wall, and I'm actually purposely not doing that one right now, until I cut my nails off. So that, is just normal and makes sense. But there's all sorts of enrichment lectures, and I don't get into the trivia or any of that stuff, but there's lots of stuff going on, lots of dance classes, and just fun things to do that we don't really have time to do. And a lot of times they get, we could do them, but the ship is rocking so bad. Well, this is another thing. Like, we need to spend way more time in the gym than we have been. And the ship is rocking so bad, you can't even stand up straight. It's really hard to lift weights or walk on the treadmill for any amount of time when the ship is doing this.
The relaxation would be nice. Yes, it would.
Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, 9 days is excessive. I don't care how you slice that up. So in the Facebook groups, a couple of people have done sort of like a day for day exchange of, we're missing this and we're getting this in exchange, and thinking that it doesn't quite add up. And it might not for them, but to most every other point is that a Mediterranean cruise is really easy to do. They're not that expensive. They happen all the time, and they are within our means to do. But the Africa cruises are not, especially with as many ports as this one is offering, are not that often, tend to be way more expensive, and it's really kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity, whereas a Mediterranean cruise
does happen quite a bit.
Is fair. I mean, we could do those pretty much, well, when there's not a war going on in the middle of it, of course.
Shasha, I think it was Shasha was the name, asked about visas in the new locations. Being that we're not sure which one they're going to approve, which one's going to be the one voted on or whatever, then we'll start to have to look at which visas we'll need in addition.
Yeah. Darlene, same number of days for both. So both of this change in itinerary starts on May 9th and it ends on June 20th. So June 20th is the point where on both of these we tie up with the original itinerary. And so for most of us it is kind of a no-brainer as far as option one, option two. But there are some people who don't want to give up the opportunity to see Egypt and the pyramids. Now, another point that's been made is that even if we select option two, it's not a given that we're going to get to go to Egypt, because there's a lot of conflict going on in that area.
A lot of time between now and then.
And a lot of time between now and then. And it could be no longer an option by the time, late May rolls around, or mid-May, I guess.
Yeah. And of course, we're asked which one do we prefer.
Option one.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn. One, I don't want to see all those cruising days. Just
He doesn't like cruising days.
Oh no, I do. It just gets to a point how rough the sea is. But missing out the Alexandria, the Athens, all those we had on our original list, pretty much. But there's so much on option one for the immersive, and so many things that we probably would never do otherwise.
Getting to see certain parts of Africa that a lot of people don't get to see, and we don't know this again because we don't know what the excursions are going to be offered. But Anthony Antoine, who is a good friend of ours,
animals,
he's so excited about the animal possibilities.
And I agree with him too. There's so many animals out there, and he's had
that you don't get to see in other places.
We didn't realize he had gone to see so many animals on the other trips until he put the video out.
Right.
And it's just amazing. He's holding on to the llamas and the alpacas and
he got really close to the crocodiles too, which is kind of scary. So Amy asked if we're going to get more time in the ports in option two. So no, we get no more time. So like in Mahi, the Seychelles, in option two, the arrival is 9 a.m. and we leave at 6 p.m. And it is the same exact amount of time on the option one. In Cape Town, we're actually spending less time there. No, we get a slightly more time in Cape Town, like 2 hours, which is not a whole lot. Tenerife, 7 a.m. to 4, and on this one, 9 a.m. to 7.
Katie has a point about the refundable. Since it is changing, they did give us a refundable percentage. Of course, that's yet to be seen because everybody kind of paid a little bit different amounts on when they actually booked and what they actually booked. So
Yeah.
we'll kind of have to see how that plays out. But also the big Petra was going to be a 2-day, wasn't it? That trip was going to be a 2-day.
Two or three.
Yeah.
So that was a long trip.
Yeah. So we see what they compensate for that. You know what they offer as opposed to.
Well,
Petra.
So this is an interesting point. So technically the all of the 7 world wonders, including Machu Picchu and stuff, they were included.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't see an actual price tag for those. Right. However, before the cruise started, Royal Caribbean acknowledged that there were some people who were not mobile enough to do all of these excursions, and if they decided to opt out of them, either because they didn't want to go or they weren't capable of doing those things, they got a credit for it.
Or if they didn't want the drink package, they could have gotten a credit for it. Things like that.
Yeah, that was a weird. I'm not really sure. There was this weird option A and option B that they let us pick, and
well, one thing for a lot of the people that have status on the Crown and Anchor Society, you get so many free drinks each day, per day with each of those levels.
Right.
And we just hit Diamond.
Yeah, we just hit Diamond.
And that gives us 4 drinks.
Yeah, 4 drinks per day.
So we get 4 drinks per day. It's just a matter of going. But then again, that's also includes, I think, bottled water too.
Yeah, it does. Bottled water or coffee at Cafe Latitudes.
Yeah.
Because those are extras. If you don't have the drink package, you have to pay for those.
Yeah. So I'm sure some of the people that weren't into the alcohol drinking, maybe they went ahead and dropped those off. Just got that they were getting.
Right. And Jackie, you're a lot of people are like you. They just don't drink, and so
yeah, true.
Are you really going to need 4 bottles of water or 4 coffees a day? Or sodas, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm guessing if you don't drink alcohol, you might not drink sodas either, if you're doing that for health reasons or whatever.
And the good thing about the drink package that we got does include the protein drinks.
It does or does not?
It does.
Okay, yeah, that's what it
does.
is. So for us,
yes,
definitely worth it.
Yeah, so just the whole drink package wasn't just the liquor. It was bottled water, it was the protein shakes, it was any soft drink you want, and on down the line.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about how we feel about why we think Royal Caribbean is making us vote.
Yeah, that's...
So I have some thoughts. I'm going to let you go, Steve, first.
Well, I think it was a little bit unusual that they did that. With this many people voting on 2 things, right? Mm-hmm. It's... Hopefully you won't have disgruntled people who wanted one and didn't get the other. Who wanted one, but we got the other. Hopefully they won't be, I don't know, just being bad players, I guess would be a best term.
So
either one would be fantastic. Like I said, I really hate that we're going to be missing the Egypt and all these others. And I saw what you said about Egypt, Jeff. So, but don't worry, we've been to many different parts of the world. We understand. But there's still so much to see in those locations. But we'll just have to pick to choose those at different time. Right.
So, in my opinion, Royal Caribbean did this is making us vote for 2 reasons.
There you go. Is that better?
Yeah. One, to get buy-in from the passengers. If you've played a part in making the decision, then you tend to take responsibility for it. Even if, you did get to vote, so even if you don't get your way, it makes you feel like you at least had a part in making the decision. And also because they didn't want to take the responsibility themselves. And you're right, you can't make everyone happy. That's true. So I want to mention also that there is, in addition to option 1 and option 2 that were made very clear with these sheets and the meeting we had the other day, there's an implied option 3, which is cancel and do something else for the entire time that these are happening, and then just pick up on segment 4.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are discussing that. That's absolutely not an option for us. We're going wherever the ship is going, right? Where did hubby get his shirt? Where'd you get that?
Actually, it came from Academy in Webster, Texas.
Okay, there you go.
It's a Columbia brand. It's just one of the nice summer shirts they had.
Anyway, right. So, side note. So yeah, there's a lot of people discussing about whether just to not do either one of these and do something else. Somebody else mentioned that Celebrity is doing a Mediterranean cruise, obviously not through the Red Sea, but picking that up in Athens instead of doing this one. I don't know what that means, so I'm not going to respond to that.
I don't know.
So yeah, to get buy-in from the passengers and to not take responsibility themselves. I think that's the main reason why they're doing this. But they are also pitting passenger against passenger because there are very strong feelings both ways about this. I think no matter what, it's going to be option one. Just from the talk I'm hearing around, from what I'm seeing in the Facebook group, from the amount of cheering that happened in the meeting yesterday, it's going to be option one. And Royal loves to cause drama, right, and not take ownership. I don't know that to be true, but it certainly seems to be true from what's going on right now. And you know, let's also talk about.
Thanks, Katie.
Oh, sorry. So let's just, sorry, I have to ban somebody. Put user in timeout. Okay. I don't know how that happened. Okay. So I had to.
Just to cancel. Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
For the past 70 days of this cruise, it seems that way. Okay, so let's talk about that. So today's day 70, so perfect timing, right? I realized that in social media, this trip kind of blew up, right? And Royal Caribbean has certainly been benefiting from that, and not really taking an interest in what's happening with the social media. They're still hardcore PR going after icon. Everything that you see is about the icon and not about what's going on with this ultimate cruise. But we're making a big deal out of it, and the news organizations are making a big deal out of it, and it's getting them a lot of really positive press. And exactly, they are enjoying all the free advertising. Does that make me mad? No, not really. They have now Royal Caribbean has actually offered some perks to some of the social media folks on this cruise, not me, but some of the other people have gotten free chef's dinners or gotten to do the sushi making class at Azumi, and they've all been very upfront. You know, when they get something that Royal Caribbean has gifted them in exchange for, they're very open about it. I don't, in some cases they have to be, but they don't always have to be. And so they're very clear about that. And that's kind of, I think that's why there's the conspiracy. Oh, so I heard that just the other day. So there's a conspiracy theory that Royal Caribbean had all of the payment for this cruise, and they used that cash influx to pay for finishing the icon. And, you know, I hadn't heard that before, but I have no idea if it's true or not, but it's fun to think about. As far as some girl, not you, why not you? So I think probably because I'm not gung-ho Royal Caribbean, oh my gosh, all the time, because I talk about how I really feel about things. And so I think if they're going to give somebody free stuff, they want to make sure that they're going to get a good report out of it, and I don't do that. So so that's probably that's probably why not me, and it doesn't hurt my feelings. Well, actually, it did a little bit in the beginning, but I'm over it, so it doesn't hurt my feelings anymore. I mean, anyway, so yes, yeah, I haven't even looked at them, but we one of our dinner partners, they're booked on the Icon.
Yeah.
I can't remember when. Bill and Lindy, if you're on, or if your daughter is on, and if you don't mind sharing what you paid for your trip on the Icon, that would be lovely to know, that I could share it with people. But
okay, people.
Okay. we're putting people in times out because they are being rude.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't even know what some of these random things mean, so I'm just blocking them. 10K for a family of 4. Oh, sorry, some girl. I'm not sure what that applies to. I think all of you and Amazu on the most down to earth and honest. Yeah. Are those YouTubers misbehaving? Yeah, they are. And that's weird because usually TikTok is the mean place and YouTube is where they're nice. But apparently that's not true on the lives.
Well, no,
because
Katie's been nice. She's helped us.
Katie, you're awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
We're glad to have both of y'all lined up right now on YouTube and on
and so
TikTok.
I hope nobody minds that we do simultaneous. It's just so much easier to do it this way. And I'm not kidding about how busy we are. Like, I spend probably half a day doing this. And, like, I don't want you guys to think that this is work for me because I love doing this. This is fun for me. So I don't really consider it work. I'm enjoying every minute of it. Him, not quite as much as I do. But he also doesn't... he doesn't participate nearly as much as I do. He gets to sleep more, and you know, if I'm working on these in the evening, he goes to the bar and hangs out with his Australian friends while I'm here.
I haven't really done that in a while though. Need to go see the blokes.
Yeah.
Not blokes, the lads, whatever you want to call them.
The lads, mates.
The Aussies.
Yes. Okay, so
all my Aussie friends.
So yeah, I think that Royal Caribbean is being a little bit sneaky with how they're doing this. I also think. So this is something we learned from Mark Sebastian, and love him or hate him, we all like him here, by the way. I didn't even know. Oh, sorry. My hubby is not an Aussie. He's
not an Aussie. I just like the guy.
He just likes hanging out with them and drinking with them.
Yeah, they're fun.
But when Mark was here on the ship, he was very helpful to all of us, and we love him, by the way. And one of the things that we talked about is giving people the illusion of choice.
Yeah.
And given that this has come up, I really think it's interesting because we have talked so much about the illusion of choice. Now, for me, it has to do with the food. With Mark, he was talking about the books that he was doing, selecting the book. The book, he had several books, but the one that was chosen by his followers was a book about it was a mystery on a cruise ship. Yeah. So of course you're going to vote for that one. That was the obvious choice. And so having these options be so drastically different, is there really a choice? And yet there is, because there are some people that are really excited about option 2. Or I will say, maybe not excited, but are pushing for this one because it has one or two little things that they're really important to them. If you weren't booked on the Ultimate World Cruise, and somebody said, "Hey, let's do a cruise starting in Dubai. Let's go see what's available," and you saw these two choices, you'd pick option 1.
Yeah.
So, because option 2 has way too many sea days. Now, so let's talk about this too. I was on a live with Brandy and...
Too many sea days, yeah.
And I can't remember who else was on it. Amazu was on it. Brandy was on it. Steph, I don't know if you're here, Steph, but Steph, who, she's not a TikToker on the ship, but I think she's booked... Either she's booked on one of the itineraries, and she's a travel agent, and she specializes in cruise stuff. Where was I going? Yeah,
the illusion of choice. That's right, Ramsey.
The illusion of choice. So, I'm sorry, I completely lost my train of thought. You mumbling in my ear is driving me. Exactly. I think Steph Ward's in Dubai. No, I was talking about...
Downside is it gets warm. Not good for a long time. Gets warm. Downside, you talking about going around Africa, Katie?
Let's see. Too many sea days on option 2. See, that seems like a waste of time. Oh, so again, let's go back. I guess maybe I'll pick up my train of thought again. But going back to the implied option 3, which is canceling, and oh no, sorry, I was talking about Brandy and her live, because she really thinks that she's nervous about option 2 being picked. She thinks, you know, because she was in the meeting too, and while there was way more clapping for option 1, she feels that the level of clapping for option 2 was pretty significant, and so she's a little nervous about that because she's very clear option 1. And so what I was explaining during her live is that because there's a 25% onboard credit refund for option 1 and a 50% for option 2, she thinks that that's enough to sway people's opinions. And she may be right about that. I don't know for sure, but I was pointing out, if anybody's read any of the books by Dan Ariely, he does a lot of social psychology experiments, some unofficial and some official. He's an actual professor who does studies and stuff. People feel very differently about things they have already bought than things that they haven't bought yet. Once you've paid for something and it's yours, if somebody wanted to buy it away from you, you would place a much higher value than what you paid for it in order to give it up and sell it to somebody else. And this is especially true in buying homes. So again, highly recommend Dan Ariely's books, by the way, if anybody's interested in the social psychology. Exactly, it's money already spent. So getting some of that back, you know, unless you took a huge hit in the stock market or something went really sideways after you started this cruise and you needed some cash, you wouldn't care about the money, you know, the difference in the money that comes back to you. And the difference between 25 and 50, we don't actually know what that is yet. Everybody paid a different price. Everybody's speculating on it. Is it a per day price, or is it just some chunk of, you know, segment 3? Nobody really knows what the amount is going to be. We haven't done the math yet, and nobody's made that clear. So that's obviously going to be one of the questions that we ask, that we need to have answered before we can do our final vote. Go through camera. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I think she was talking about go
yeah,
through camera.
and it's only credit, right? So there's 2 different kinds of credit. There's regular onboard credit, and then there's refundable onboard credit. So if you don't use it by the end, theoretically, we're supposed to take it out of our account and get it back. So Blunt 45 says, isn't a percentage of that segment? Yes, it is. But what's included in that segment? Because again, there were different prices paid for, depending on the room size, depending on whether you had the drink package or not, depending on whether or not you had already said that you didn't want to go on one of the 7 World Wonders excursions. So 25% of what and 50% of what? We don't know what that is yet. So what are you going to buy on board? Okay, so on board you can use for specialty dining, for spa service, or for excursions. So whatever new.
Also in the casino.
And in the casino, yes. Which, gee, I wonder
they get it back, don't they?
They get it back when you use it in the casino.
The house usually wins.
Yes. So say we went with option 2 and we got 50% back. One, we don't know 50% of what or how much that's actually going to be. We could get it back at the end. That would be nice. But again, it's money already spent. And so unless you have an urgent need for cash, and again, an urgent need for cash, you're not going to see until probably the end of the overall cruise. So if you don't spend it in onboard credit, you know, Celestial Queen, I don't know if you can use it for shopping. Yeah, no, I guess you can. You can use onboard credit for shopping. So yeah, I guess if, yeah. I love all of you people laughing and calling this girl math, because I got those comments yesterday too. It's not girl math, it's actual math. Again, and it is a common psychological thing that everybody goes when buying and selling homes. So it's not specific just to this cruise. What a joke. They say use it in the casino. Well, yeah, I mean, they want us to use it in the casino because that way they get it back.
They keep it. But there's a lot of people that are hitting the casinos, just like always.
Yeah. Yeah. Consider making the compensation amount as one of your questions for the February. Yes, absolutely. We are absolutely going to.
More detail on that.
So yeah, how they're doing the math for everyone, and then how are they doing the math specific to us? I want to know what that actual amount is. But to us, it doesn't make a difference to us.
Not really.
And so here's another thing: is most of the people who signed up for this cruise are adventurers, right?
Yeah.
We came on this. It's not just about seeing the ports. It's about the adventure. How are we voting? We're voting for option one.
Yeah.
Or we had a discussion about it today, just to make sure we were on the same page.
And like I said, I'm torn between the two because yes, I still want to see Istanbul and Greece, the Greek islands that were listed on here. I still want to see those, but there again, there's a whole lot of cruising days to get there.
It's not necessarily worth the extra 20-ish cruising days.
With option one, where we do actually get to see a lot of Africa, that's it's part of a world cruise.
And that's part of the adventure of it, right?
And one of them mentioned up about the tendering that we haven't had such great luck. That's true. Most of those that we missed were down close to the Southern Passage, the Drake Passage, and so those are notoriously rough anyway.
Yeah.
So the Falkland Islands was. It was unfortunate there very much because everyone really wanted to get off there because we were supposed to see penguins there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
one of us wasn't feeling well, and there was somebody wasn't very good at chasing the penguins down. I'm not going to say who.
Yeah. Okay, but so yeah, it's getting to see so much of Africa, and I'm curious to see what they'll offer to replace the World Wonders that we were supposed to get as the 7 World Wonder trips who signed up for the full cruise.
Yeah.
And so we're looking forward to seeing what they add in for that.
So let's talk about vaccines and visas.
Yes.
So we've been looking at, we haven't done all the research yet, but there were a lot of vaccines that were recommended but not required for this route. And even though they were recommended and not required, we kind of pushed to get those anyway. Yellow fever is one of them. Yeah. And we do know that that's a main requirement for at least one, if not several of the places in Africa that we want to go. Yeah. So we have that, and that's fabulous for us, right? But I don't know that that's true for everybody on the ship.
And one of our friends had gotten it, but they don't have
They didn't bring their vaccination card. So they don't have any proof that they got it. And so from that perspective, it really depends on how strict
they might also be able to get a hold of their doctor or whoever got them the shot, if they can get a hold of them and get a record sent. It's possible, I guess.
That's true. I mean, but who? Okay, do you remember the name of the doctors we went to for our shots?
Well, we know it was a travel clinic.
Yeah,
that'd be the thing.
I'm just saying that's not necessarily easy because most of the vaccines that we had to get were not available at our regular doctor's office. We had to go to some random other place that specializes in vaccines and travel medicine.
Yep.
So, okay, so that's it for the vaccines. So I believe we do have all the vaccines that are required. I don't know that for sure, but I think that's true. If it's not true for everybody on the ship, I would imagine they would probably try to do something to get those vaccines available here and provide them on board. Yeah. And probably I'm quite sure for a fee, right?
Oh yes, absolutely. But then again, if it's a matter of not getting it and not being able to go, maybe they can, whoever gets it, if they do get it on the ship, then maybe they can run it back to their insurance. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. And so, okay, so that's it for the vaccines. I'm going to do visas, and then we're going to talk about ship security, because that's another thing that's really important to me.
Yeah, it's been discussed a whole lot, Katie.
So, so for the visas, we have also not done the research again on this, but several people in the Facebook group have, and they've listed out what these specific countries that we're going to, what their country website says is required for a visa for either people with Canadian passports or U.S. passports. Yeah. So some of them are very strict and require person-to-person, face-to-face contact and somebody taking your visa and doing something with it in an embassy or something. That's not going to be possible for any of us. So, but on the other hand, there are also several countries that are on the original itinerary that have normally very strict requirements for their visas too. China is a perfect example. You know, there's a lot of paperwork that goes into a Chinese visa, and one of our seven world wonders is the Great Wall of China. And a lot of, you know, everybody who's doing the full room cruise and who was platinum, you know, is going to that. And so Royal Caribbean has worked with China to do a landing visa. So we get everybody who's only doing the Royal Caribbean excursions has a landing visa. Royal Caribbean organized all of that for us. There's nothing additional that we need to do. So Jemmy, we did not get the 10-year visa for China. There was some paperwork that we weren't comfortable filling out. Like foreign governments don't need to know that much about us. And we've both done U.S. government contracting, and even though we're retired now, no other foreign government needs to know that much about us. So we chose not to, and we were kind of hemming and hawing, like, what are we gonna do about this? And then the rules changed. And then the landing visa thing came up, so we didn't have to. Do you really think the captain is going to pick option one? I don't know what that's about, but the captain doesn't, as far as I know, doesn't get to say.
I would say that he's already approved these itineraries with corporate.
Well, he's not. Is he even going to be on the ship for all of this? I don't think he is.
Well, when we were supposed to get Stig back.
Oh, yeah. So
Italy?
So, yeah, I think Stig is coming back either in Italy or before we do the next northern section.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that corporate and the captain all were part of this laying out.
Yeah.
I'm sure the captain wouldn't just say whatever, you know, then I'm not going to go with this one. He probably has buy-off on both itineraries.
Okay. So Lauren Rain says because she heard that it's really up to him, so giving you guys a choice is odd. So yeah, so maybe he approved both of these potential itineraries, and that's why. But again, it's kind of the illusion of choice. Do we really have a choice?
And there again, you know, corporate has the purse strings.
Yeah.
The captain, yes, has the final say for safety of the ship and things like that. But if you know, corporate,
as far as money,
yes,
and what
as far as
cost.
money, it's, you know, corporates. They hold a pretty tight string on that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it was not done in a vacuum on corporate and the captain, and probably even the senior leadership probably had some buy off on it. But yeah, this was not completely unknown.
Okay, so I'll see you later. Thanks for showing up.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about security. So this is the thing that this is kind of a pet peeve of mine. Switching from the Red Sea to going around Africa is not a difference between unsafe and safe. It's a difference between very unsafe and very unsafe and less unsafe.
Yeah.
There is still, because ships do it all the time, because piracy has been a thing for a very long time. People think that it's not unsafe to do this. It is absolutely unsafe to do this. But it's been going on long enough that companies know how to mitigate the risk. And what's going on in the Red Sea is very new. It's not predictable in any way, and there hasn't been any, you know, nothing has risen to the top to deal with what's happening there.
Well, and one thing I look at is that you got two different types of threats. In the Red Sea, the Houthis are firing missiles. That's how they're hitting the ships, and they can hit them from a range.
Yeah.
So that's one threat. If you're going around by where the pirates are, that's a different kind of threat. That, you know, depending on what type of security they actually bring on, or have something, you know, the country's lined up with their warships patrolling in that area. That's also, you know, the other part of it. They tend to watch that very carefully, especially, you know, cruise ships that have multinational passengers. Yes, from all over the world. Especially we do have from all over the world, but a lot of different people.
Okay, I'm with you. I don't like not having my personal protection either.
Yes, it was very frustrating knowing that we couldn't even bring a knife. You know, and we like knives.
And agreed, no one should be going into the Red Sea at this time.
No,
that's we're in agreement on that.
Yeah,
but the way people are saying is, oh, we're taking the safe way. It's not necessarily the safe way. There is still risk. It's just a different kind of risk. It's an old risk, and you know, the piracy in the beginning, when that first started out, that was, you know, straight up desperate fishermen whose livelihoods have been ruined by all sorts of different things going on in their area. And now it's pretty much, it's commercialized. I mean, they're getting funded from outside, and I guess if that helps them eat more, I don't know that I can say that that was necessarily a bad thing for them. But it's not.
And the main thing that they're doing as far as the pirates, the main thing they want to do is hijack a ship, hold it for ransom, get money deposited in some other account, then they get off the ship. That's all they wanted was a bunch of money.
Right.
They don't want anything that's on the ship usually. They don't want, you know, if they have to kill somebody, I'm sure they probably don't care to get their point across. But yeah, that's the thing there. They try to board ships and demand money for ransom.
Right. So anyway, we are assuming that they are going to provide security in the places where we need that, but we are.
That's right.
Somebody's talking about making Molotov cocktails. Katie, you're hilarious. Yeah, we've got plenty of booze on board for Molotov cocktails.
We need to be on the ship, Katie.
Anyway, so we're sure that they're going to hire security where that's necessary. What that's going to look like and what it's going to entail, we don't know. But that is going to be one of the questions that we put into the email that need to be answered before we can make a decision about that. Because, yeah, if they came up at us with, we don't need security, that kind of changes the math on that a little bit for me.
Yeah.
Africa can be a very scary place. Could you bring any safety equipment? So yeah, we weren't allowed. You're not allowed to bring any kind of even defensive weapons.
No kind of sharp objects. Couldn't bring scissors.
Couldn't bring scissors.
They're afraid you're going to run down the hall with it. Running with scissors.
Couldn't bring knives. And so this is actually funny. So we met with a friend of ours a friend of mine in LA, who tried to give us. He bought 2 different multi-tools that have a blade and 2 different pocket knives, one for me and one for Steve, or two,
one of each
for both of us. And I was like, as I was opening the box of this gift he was sending me, and I'm like, oh, dude, you're killing me. I can't bring these with them. I had to, and no pew pew at all.
Yeah.
But when before we got on, and I was looking at what we were allowed to bring, what the prohibited items were, I think I remember seeing a picture of brass knuckles. And I thought, well, that's a weird thing. Like, who tried to bring? That's not the kind of thing I would ever think of bringing on board. Now, a multi-tool or a knife, a blade, because I always keep a pocket knife with me. I've always.
At least one.
Yeah, at least one. And what about crafting scissors for sewing? So I'm not sure about that. I'm going to have to ask Little Rat Brain about that because
she does crafts.
She's crafting a lot. And now that I think about it, she has a mat board that she does cutting on. So I wonder if.
Exacto knife of some sort, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. So I'm wondering if she got that from one of the craft things here, or if she was allowed to bring that on board. I don't know. I'll have to ask her though.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. This is how one ship fought them off. The waiters came up with it on the Molotov cocktails.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
I had not heard that story.
And the Serenade is powered by 2 turbine engines. So we have regular fuel, not just diesel.
Mm-hmm.
More explosive.
Oh,
more volatile
than the alcohol. Sure.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But why is the rum gone?
Stop. Okay. No. So, yeah, I do think Royal Caribbean is kind of. So they're kind of taking advantage of. Yeah, I don't actually know that's true, and I don't actually think that's true. I heard her name at one point, and I've kind of, because she's very protective of her privacy, I kind of...
I didn't mean you to say anything, but anyway, Katie says, can you put a folding knife in a metal tumbler? Come on back, boy.
But I
don't think so. They might get...
But anyway, I think the name that you mentioned is wrong anyway, because I have heard her real name, and I'm not... And I kind of made myself forget it, but I don't think what you said is it, so... Let's see.
I forgot it too. Oops.
So yeah, I am gonna have to ask Little Rat Brain about where she got the X-Acto knife, because I have seen in her videos her cutting things, and I love watching her videos. She's so awesome.
Very talented.
Very talented. Okay, so let's get back to Royal Caribbean. Kind of slimy for making us vote. Yeah. With regards to security, somebody mentioned this ship and this cruise are in the media so much I mean, it's a given that our itinerary is going to be everywhere, right? Because there's a lot of people who aren't on the ship who need to know this information because they're
joining
in Dubai. I think some of those were definitely given the option to cancel for 100% refund, other than maybe the port fees or whatever. But okay, Kate. All right.
Pups out.
Yes, I hope the
Take
likes
care of the
help
puppies.
too. Thank you. But yeah, they pitting us against each other was not necessarily a smart move. There's already a fair amount. I mean, I don't even know if I'd call it drama, but it's sort of manufactured drama. So there's some people who are making a big deal out of the fact that they're not treated the same way, or they don't get the same perks as some others. Well, they didn't pay for the perks, so well, that's dumb. It's like buying a coach ticket and then getting upset that you're not getting a first class seat, right? And then there's the pinnacles and not pinnacles. There's the, there's just all of this manufactured weirdness that's going on between the passengers anyway. This is not helping. It's actually making it worse. There's at least a certain group on this ship that don't like that kids are here. And this is a really different cruise. And I get that other cruise lines do world cruises all the time. I think the longest I saw before I got on this one was 180 days, and that's a long time to be with a specific group of people. 9 months, what we are on for this one, is a really long time to be with a specific group of people. But what's interesting, so the only time we really know that we're actually surrounded by other people who are doing the full 9 months is when we're doing the Platinum, 7 Wonders of the New World. And every time, like in Cusco, I was still seeing people that I don't remember meeting. So there's between 500 and 600 of us, I think.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
And I still haven't met all of the 500 or 600.
No. There was a 3-year cruise by another cruise line, but that kind of went defunct.
Yeah. And Amazu was saying he wants equal information. Absolutely. So the fact that he's not getting equal information, and some of the segmenters are not getting equal information, and that people who aren't even on the ship right now but who are affected by these changes, they should be getting equal information too. That being said, there's enough social media coverage just from the passengers on here that it's out there if they want to find it. They don't have to look too hard for it. And we try to make everybody, like, even within the Facebook groups that are not specific to the 9-month people, there are other Facebook groups that are dedicated to this cruise, and where everybody's literally posting every time information comes to us, we share it online.
Yeah. I saw a question pop up earlier. I can't remember who it was, but asked about when is the vote supposed to be. The 26th is when we're supposed to select our preferred itinerary.
So we have to have our questions in by the 20th.
Yep.
And then
the 21st to be a webinar
where they will hopefully answer all of those questions for us.
Yep.
And then we will have to vote on the 26th.
And they'll announce the itinerary on the 27th.
Yes. So that's the timeline for that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, everyone on the ship should be getting the information. There's no argument from me there. The fact that, I don't understand why they're doing that. It's frustrating to all of us. And it doesn't make any sense. It's completely unnecessary. Why would you only give information to some people and not others? It's stupid. Katie, could you
that was about
a folding knife inside a metal no. That would not work. It could actually get us kicked off the ship, so
and barred.
Not worth that. So option 1 is our preference. It is not everybody's preference. Option 2 I don't think it's really a close second. I think it's significantly behind number 1 as being second. And then, of course, option 3 for the cancellation of segment 3 and just getting off the ship for some time, I think is maybe unexpected by Royal Caribbean, but I think a lot of people are thinking about that now.
Water. Amy talks about water definitely. It is.
Bottled water is not.
Bottled water
but
is
water
not
is.
regular water. If you go sit down at your table and say, ask for a glass of water, they will bring you a glass of ice water. You're not going to go without water. But it's the
Bottled
purified
water,
on the no, it's the purified on the ship system. Just like coming out of your tap, it is 100% potable and no problems with it.
So, some girl, no one is talking about how amazing Option 1 stops are. So, some girl, we went through all of these stops, but as far as how amazing they are, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
So, the Seychelles, Madagascar, and Mauritius, and South Africa, I am familiar with, but I don't know anything about Namibia, Angola, Ghana, the Ivory Coast, Senegal, the Canary Islands. I don't know anything about those places. Yeah. Or the only thing that I've seen about those places is in like National Geographic stuff, which is not indicative of what it's like for regular people. Is the internet affordable for folks who want to work when on the cruise? I don't even know what it. I mean, again, that was included for us. Dude, please pick number 2. They are going to be offering excursions, but we have no idea what yet. They haven't let us know any of that stuff yet.
Yeah, and to cover, to compensate for the ones that we're missing, the big excursion was it's either 2 or 3 days to Petra that we're going to be losing, and so I'm curious to see what kind of replacement they give us.
Yeah. Well, and even just the regular excursions that we booked and paid for, so we're going to get refunds for all of those too. So that's going to affect the total amount that's also included between the 25% and 50%.
And I think, is that Jen?
Jen?
No, they have not given us a list of possible excursions because they need to decide on which itinerary first. So then they'll know when they need to start booking the excursions, which ones they've identified, I'm sure, at those locations in preparation for making this list available.
So yeah. I'm going to go, so Jesse, if you were the one who was asking about the cruise internet. So we didn't pay for it separately. It was included in our stuff. So I don't know what they're paying. I would guess not. Because the cruises we did before where we had to pay for it, it's a daily charge and it's dynamic. So it's not the same for every ship. It's not the same for every sailing. So, and I would guess they probably charge different amounts based on which segment you're on and for how long you're on.
I think it comes to be a per day thing. Yeah. And you can look on Royal Caribbean website probably and
I don't know
look at their amenities.
Well, yeah. So I guess if you looked up one of the mini sailings, it would tell you how much the internet costs for that particular sailing. Yep. And I would guess so it's $30 a day.
$30 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's somewhere in there. I can't remember exactly. We paid for it all up front, included in our package deal.
In the other cruises we did, we paid $29 a day.
Last April, yes.
For each of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and there was one where we only bought one device. We only paid for one device, and we didn't do that again because we were literally going back and we were switching devices constantly. So that's the other thing. Even though you pay for one device, it just means one device at a time. You can actually use it for your iPad, your iPhone, somebody else's I'm saying
your
Apple stuff. Your laptop, your tablet, or your phone. But you can only use it one at a time. So yeah, $28.99 a day. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's what we paid last time. And to be fair, am I sunburned? If so, I'm a little jealous. So, if any of you guys saw the video in Arica, Chile,
oh my gosh, that was so worth it though.
Yeah, so the makeup I wear has an SPF 50. So on my face and part of my neck was totally covered with sunscreen, but my neck and chest was not, and I was wearing a black shirt. I was not expecting it to be that sunny that day.
And I didn't take my hat.
And he didn't take his hat. The top of his head was peeling for a week.
Yeah.
Is it done now?
I was molting. Yeah,
it was molting. It's almost done now.
Yeah.
I knew it is good. Well, right, because it's dynamic pricing. It changes all the time on all of the sailings. So
I'd be throwing fists for share one.
My versus
yeah, it got a little testy at times.
Yeah, because I'm online all the time. I live online.
Yeah.
All right. Isn't it close to the equator? Fully cover up for sure. So yeah, it was. I was just dumb. That was a huge mistake on my part.
Yeah.
So yeah, apparently I'm gonna have to have some work done when we're done with this cruise. The sunburn.
Oh,
I mean. Okay. What else do we have to talk about?
Yeah,
are you enjoying the cruise and glad so far? Yes, absolutely. We are very glad we took the cruise and glad.
Yes, absolutely.
We're adventurers.
And even with the change, from the very beginning, when we had, the hat.
Go ahead.
From the very beginning, the first place that they marked off the list was Odessa, Ukraine, for obvious reasons, right? And they also took off St. Petersburg, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
St. Petersburg, I would love to see it here. It's just a beautiful city, as old as the architecture is there. So yeah, and as we've been going along, there's been several other ones that they've had to knock off for whatever's going on in the country, a little political unrest here and there and things like that. So you got to be flexible, because the world is changing every day, and we got to. Yeah, that was one of the perks that I got.
This was one of the freebies. And so what's funny about this is this hat is huge, and it doesn't fit anybody on this ship. Everybody, because all the couples got a hat and a scarf.
A scarf, yes.
And so I guess the scarf was for me and the hat was for him.
Yeah. It's a world cruise. Uses the frisbee.
Yeah. So anyway, it doesn't fit anybody. Katie's asked if we've gained weight eating all those rich meals. So you haven't weighed yourself, so you don't know.
No, but I don't feel, even though I haven't been in the gym, since before the Drake crossing.
Yeah.
I know I've lost, a little bit from not working out for over a month, but I don't feel like I've gained much. So, because there again, with the video you put out that caused so much stir, the food's fine. They do a great job with the food, but eventually you get tired of eating so much. So, it's.
So, and I'm going to answer. So I haven't gotten on the scale this week, but I did weigh myself last week, and I was down 6 pounds.
Yeah. This is not like a 3-day, 5-day, 7-day cruise. This is you get more settled into a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And
after a while, your body will tell you stop it.
Yeah. Yeah, it will. And also same thing with the on the drink package, the alcohol side. Some days we don't drink at all.
Yeah.
And
Stacey
maybe several
will
days.
answer your question next.
So that part of it, you may have one drink, you may have a glass of wine with dinner, but that's really about it. Because we're not spring break partying, for 274 days.
We do walk a lot on the ports,
Yes.
and we've gotten kind of addicted to the protein shakes. It's just easier.
It's nice having them. Yeah, it's nice getting the protein, but not.
Or meal replacement shakes.
Yeah.
They have both, and they
Yeah.
have smoothies,
Yeah.
so we can do those and just skip meals.
Yeah, and we also brought our own powdered protein too. So.
Yeah, we have quite a bit of that. So
Yeah.
if they run
it.
out downstairs, we can always use that as a backup.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to answer this one because this is a
Love the hat. Thanks, Katie.
a world cruise
send it to
doesn't
you if
a world
it
cruise
fits
doesn't
you.
seem very frugal. What's the secret for wannabe travelers on a tight budget? So I'm going to try and not give a flippant answer
No.
about this. So
No.
the name Frugal Vagabond is not so much. It could be about traveling on a budget. Obviously, this is not an example of that. But how frugality and living that way through most of my life helped finance this trip.
Yeah.
So the Frugal Vagabond isn't just about
One or two things.
right, because being frugal to me, it's always kind of been a lifestyle, but it's a means to an end. Like, I'm not about pinching pennies in every part of my life.
Right.
I am about pinching pennies with things that don't matter to me, and using those savings for things that do matter to me. Yeah, frugal is about smart spending. So this, one example that a lot of people give about the work boot example, right? So somebody who doesn't make a lot of money can't afford to buy the good work boots that last for 3 years. And so they end up buying a pair that only lasts for 1 year, and then they have to spend more. They spend more over time because they have to buy more pairs of work boots. And I love that example because when I make decisions about things, one, I don't spend money on things I don't need. And I don't, I need food, clothing, and shelter. And honestly, clothing, not so much. I have not, my shape has not changed a whole lot over time. So I still have clothes that are like 10 years old that I still wear. I shop in thrift stores. I do secondhand stores for clothes because clothes have never been that important to me. And because for a lot of my life, I've done, I've not worked in an office. I have worked outside, and I really don't want to mess up nice clothes when I'm working outside and stuff like that. So I have a matrix that I go through. How often am I going to use something? How hard am I going to be on that thing that I'm going to? I don't know what you're doing.
There we go. I wanted to, damn it.
Steve's messing stuff up.
There. I want to get it back to scrolling the questions and comments.
Anyway, so we live frugally all the time. I do random weird stuff that even drives him crazy sometimes. So Ziploc bags, that's one of those things. They're expensive to buy. I wash them. I mean, if we're putting non-sticky stuff inside of them, I wash them out when I'm done using them, and we reuse them. And I do once a month cooking, or once a week cooking, I guess. Well, sometimes it's once a month. So like we'll go shopping on a Saturday. We will have picked out the meals that I'm going to cook, or that we're going to cook together on a Sunday. I'll have 2 crock pots going in 2 pots on the stove, and all of that stuff goes into single serving containers, and it goes in the freezer. We do not waste vegetables. We do not waste food. And there's always something healthy and nutritious in the freezer. And I don't have to ask him what he wants to eat. There's 5 different things in the freezer. Go pick out what you want to eat. I'm not cooking anything.
and we still, we'll still do a date night, go out to eat somewhere.
Yeah.
Treat ourselves for the week or whatever, Sometimes 1 week, every 2 weeks.
And even we stopped doing that.
Yeah.
And
didn't
because
do it too many times.
Oh man, it's just going out to eat is getting so ridiculously expensive that when we're meeting up with family
Thanks,
and
Ramsey.
people
Appreciate
that we
that.
haven't seen in a while, and we're getting together with for important reasons, like we went to eat out a lot right before we left because we were seeing family for the last time. We were going to see them for 9 months. So we met up with a lot of people to do that.
Jackie, yes, it's a way of life, way to live. Yes, you gotta kind of make it the way you do everything.
Right.
We don't have a brand new car. We kept it. We didn't sell it like some people did. It's a 2009 Volkswagen Rabbit. So that's the car we have sitting at home. We've been living in a 1-bedroom condo.
850 square feet.
So this wasn't too much of a change for us, being in a.
Yeah, it's not all that different.
Yeah.
No, we don't have kids, so that's another thing that makes it east. Having kids changes the math a lot.
It does.
And
we understand, and we respect that the people that have 1, 2, or 3 kids or however many, that's kids are a big expense. And that's recognized. Yes.
Yeah.
And not just feeding them till they're 18. Also, those of you who are able to put them through college too.
Yeah. Or for braces, college, wedding, sports. Sport. I have a friend who's got a couple of kids who are in some very expensive sporting activities, and thousands and thousands of dollars just to play, and that makes me sad, really. I know it's always kind of been that way to a certain extent. It was that way when we were in school. But I think it's gotten prohibitively expensive, and it makes me sad for parents and for the kids, because if you can't afford to play, you don't get to, and it shouldn't be that way. Yeah, $1,200 for my daughter's dance competition season. Yeah.
Wow.
For dance, like what? I guess it's the clothing and the shoes or something like that. I don't know, but I guess you have to pay for the place where they practice too. But
and there was a fee for doing marching band. That's what Lilia says.
Yeah. My boyfriend Pepe says, I don't know what that's about too. Okay. 5K for show choir for 1 kid. Oh, and yes, the outfits. Yeah. Costumes are extra. How old are the kids on board? Okay, so I'm gonna
Yeah, go ahead.
So the
Yeah.
youngest that are on the full cruise are a set of 2-year-old twins, or they were 2 years old at least when the cruise started.
Yes. Yes.
They were at the gala before the cruise started, and we
Mm-hmm.
used to see them all the time on the ship with their parents at meals and stuff. And I have not seen them in a while, so I don't know if they're on an independent journey or if something happened. But so
Well,
they
could
were
just be in different areas than we are. So.
right. So the 2-year-old kids at the time were the youngest, the youngest doing the full cruise. But there are people on with babies now.
Yeah.
I've seen babies on the ship.
Yep.
Lots of fair number of toddlers and a fair number of teenagers.
Yeah. Well, the latest couple that we met, they have two small children.
Which,
Josh.
the one at the game?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he had two. I thought they just had one. But anyway, yeah, they're.
Anyway, just what they made the comment about watching the kids.
Gotcha.
Only one gets to come out and do stuff. The other one has to watch the kids in the evening.
How do they do school on the ship? So I think so. There's Royal Caribbean has Adventure Ocean, and I don't know how many parents actually use that, but they have educational programming for the kids in Adventure Ocean. I would suspect that almost all of them have a curriculum that they're working on from their home schools, and they're doing what they can online. So and again, so. So that brings up another point, because again, the internet is included for us, but if you're just buying one device for the family and the kids have school, then you're using that device for them when they're doing school.
Surely they all, planned on that for however long they're going to be on the ship.
Yeah.
Because the one couple we talked about, they're going to be on it until Dubai, I do believe. Josh playing the game.
Yes.
They're going to be on it till Dubai, and maybe they got, who knows, the package part
We'll
of that.
have to ask them next time we see them.
Yeah. But then I don't know how old their smaller children are, so.
So there was a feisty interaction. It was not on the ship. It was during an excursion, and hopefully that's done with now.
Yeah. Yep.
What do we know about Brooklyn and Madison? What is that about? I'm not sure what you're asking about. They're both students. They are always. I see Brooklyn more than Madison outside. Studying. She wears her headphones to block out the noise because it's really distracting around here. She finds a place that has a plug-in, and I'll see her there for a couple hours at a time.
Masters.
She's working on her master's. I don't remember what it's in. She's like
hotel management.
Yeah.
She wants to work for cruise lines.
Right. Both really nice girls.
Yeah.
We see Brooklyn more than Madison, but but from what we know about Madison is she's really nice too.
Yeah.
Maybe they homeschool. Yeah,
exactly. I do remember hearing some talk about homeschooling. So, but there again, they would need some kind of, the internet to actually get out and get the work plans and information for whatever. But yeah, that'd be a lot of material to carry with you on the ship.
They're students on the ship with their parents. Just wondered how they found their way onto the cruise. Yeah, so they're here with their parents.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to them about how that whole thing came up, so I'm assuming. I can tell you. I think from the short version I got from Brandy and Shannon, if you guys are familiar with them. Brandy and Shannon, I think, found out that their parents told them that they were going to do this, and they were. Brandy did also mention her mom was a little hesitant about it because being away from her, her grown children,
from her 2 daughters,
from her grown children for that long was kind of upsetting. She wasn't sure how she was going to handle that. But when Brandy and Shannon found out they were going to do this, they were like, "Hey, how can we make this happen for us and come along?" So it wasn't originally planned that they were going to go with them, but they both found a way to make that happen. So,
and someone made a comment about being expensive with kids. They do a kids sale free for a certain age.
I don't know that applies on this one. Okay.
Sorry.
So I don't know that kids sale free applies to this cruise.
I don't know either.
But they're definitely at a discount. And when you pay, like, just as an example for Steve and I, if we had a small child, we don't, but if we did, adding them to this room would not be very expensive. We talked about. One of my friends was thinking about joining for one of the mini sailings, and when we priced it out, adding her was really cheap. I mean, she wouldn't have gotten all the perks that we did, but she's also doesn't drink, so not a big deal for her. So yeah, we could have added her for a few $100s. Again, only for a mini sailing. I'll be your small child. It's cheaper than daycare. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Adventure Ocean is free. I mean, if you're on the
And-
ship and you have a kid, you register them at Adventure Ocean, and that is part of the cruise price.
And then there again, the opportunity, yes, blunt, the opportunity for the kids, as long as they're old enough to comprehend and see what's going on.
I don't even know if that's necessary to a certain extent.
But still, if they're getting to travel the world, at some point in time, they'll be in a classroom with their friends again, and they'll start talking about, oh yeah, I've been there, I've been here. Yeah.
I am a very firm believer that if you or your children are well read and well traveled, you almost don't need school. I mean, maybe for math and science and stuff like that, but most of the other stuff that they teach you, especially, in the, K through 6 for people who are talking about U.S. schools.
Yes. Mason, yes. Hilo has a large airport that we've seen aircraft flying in and out. I saw a Southwest 737 flying out earlier today. So yes, they do. It's right next to the port, as a matter of fact, not too far.
When we were walking, there was like, airport, 1 mile. So we could have walked to the airport if we wanted to, but we didn't have any reason to, so we didn't.
Yeah.
Worldly kids create confident kids. Yeah.
Yes.
And tolerant kids.
Yes.
I find, I grew up poor, so not a whole lot of traveling in Leah's early years, but when I was in my early 30s, I started traveling for work, and I learned more about other people in other countries. And I didn't just, there's a difference between traveling and transiting between places and actually living there. And so when I was working, I did actually live there. So that kind of makes a difference. But still, when you're traveling, you meet different kinds of people who have different backgrounds and different values and different beliefs, and you get to talking to them and getting to know them. And I think that makes a huge difference. Yes. It does absolutely open minds.
It does, Kara. It does. So.
And I love the adventure.
Yeah, and the unknown. As we were talking about, the unknown of the next segments.
Yeah.
So
we kind of. Yeah. So I guess I want to talk about that too, because everybody's like, "You're so chill about this. This is a huge thing that's changing, and why are you guys all so calm about it?" Well. Because we kind of gave our lives up for 9 months. We're kind of, we committed to being on this ship for 9 months, and it doesn't really matter where we go. We're still going to be on the ship for 9 months.
Still going around the world. Unless they decide to extend it, and say, oh, we missed this, we'll go back over here and hit this.
Yeah.
That'd be nice, Royal.
What's been our favorite port so far?
I'd say as far as the port we actually got out on would be
Ushuaia? Okay.
Yeah, end of the earth. End of the world.
End of the world. You're saying that he bought a t-shirt from there, so he has an end of the world t-shirt.
That's it. But as far as what we've seen, Antarctica was truly amazing. I wish we could have just gone around there for a couple more days, just looking at icebergs and looking for the wildlife. It was truly an adventure, which now we want to actually get an adventure to go down there.
Yeah, degrees still matter, Stacy. Yes, Stacy, that is absolutely true. They do still matter for some things, but so I will say this too: traveling and a degree really helps you with overseas work. Because people don't want to. You can apply for all of the overseas jobs that you want, and unless they know that you have experience doing that, it costs them a lot of money to get you visas and doing that whole setup. So. If you don't have experience living and dealing with other cultures, you're way more likely to jump ship if things don't come out how you like. So I want to talk about this too, about Antarctica. So
we'll start one. I can't remember who it was. It went up, but I said, "Are you sad that you didn't get off in Antarctica?" Not.
Yes.
We were. Yes, we are.
This is a pet peeve. I'm going to go off on this.
But part of what we found out is that they're not letting any ships make port in Antarctica, as it were, because the only ships they are allowing are those with like 500 or less passengers. So of course here we are, 1,500, somewhere in there.
Right. So.
But, however.
Yeah. So this cruise was marketed as 7 continents. Getting to land on all 7 continents. That includes Australia. That includes Antarctica. We did not get off the ship in Antarctica.
Yeah.
Nobody got to go on the boat to get an iceberg and to see the ship from far away and take pictures. Nobody got to do that.
Well, there's a couple of crewmen that did.
None of the passengers did.
They brought a chunk of one of the icebergs back and
none of the passengers did.
No.
And so that was definitely
irritating.
Faulty advertising, because we had already booked, and don't get me wrong, we were going to do the trip anyway.
Yeah.
But a huge selling point for me in particular was Antarctica. I wanted to put my toes in the water off of the coast of Antarctica. I grew up in Alaska. I have put my toes in the Arctic Ocean, and I wanted to do the same on the southern end, and it really ticked me off that I didn't get to.
Yes, Ramsey, they did actually bring a chunk of an iceberg and put it on the ship by the pool.
Yeah, they did.
And everybody got to take a picture with it.
Yeah, they had
sit on it, stand on it, whatever.
They had to rope it down because it kept sliding around.
Yeah, until it melted.
Yeah,
it disappeared.
Okay, so let's see. We've been on for almost 90 minutes.
Oh yeah, 85. Cool.
That's what Superman about. Yeah, Mark brought some of the iceberg. Oh yeah, the melted iceberg. He put it in one of his travel mugs. Were you ever going to get off Antarctica? No. So that, again, because only ships with less than 500 people on, passengers on board are allowed to get off. And there's a huge protocol that you have to go through.
Yeah.
And it wasn't clear to us until after we had paid that all of those stops in Antarctica were just us traveling through the area. We weren't actually getting off the ship.
And Paradise Bay was the farthest south. We didn't actually...
Right. So we knew by the time the trip started that we weren't going to get off, but we did not know before we paid, and so that really ticked me off.
Yeah.
And
we still would have gone anyway, though.
I mean, yeah, but
we wanted to be on Antarctica.
But don't say I get to go to 7 continents if I don't get to go to 7 continents. You know what I mean?
Norway just changed cruise rules.
First of all, they are also banning large cruise ships.
Oh no, they've changed that too. So
yeah, see, and this is the way things are going.
Like that. We had heard that there's a lot of countries, a lot of cities, ports that would be closing down to tourists.
They weren't transparent at all about that.
No, and of course that's been in the news. We understand, appreciate that you broke that bad news to us, Katie. Thanks. No, we appreciate that. That's some things that we had seen and heard before too. So there's a couple of other places that were talking about it. You know, they like the tourist money, but they're just not happy about a ship pulling up and dumping 2,000-3,000 people into their community.
Yeah. So, Christy, I would call myself an extensive traveler before the World Cruise. Do you?
A little bit.
Steve, not as much as me. I've been more fun places.
Yeah.
When I was in my late 20s, I did the Machu Picchu Inca Trail hike for 3 days with a friend. We both worked overseas, and I'm trying to think. There was another. I've been to the Colosseum before, so out of the World Wonders, I was at least 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think if I've been to any more. I don't remember what the list shows, but I spent 3 months in Italy once, visiting a friend. And different trips to Italy. So I've been there a few times. Steve's been to Saudi Arabia. I've never been there. I worked in Abu Dhabi, Dubai for a while. I'm trying to think where. Oh, Mexico City. I worked there for a year.
Emma, I just joined.
What are y'all talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about the World Cruise. The itinerary change that's being talked about, been presented to the passengers and to review and decide on. There's two options, which way we want to go. And of course, both go around Africa, but one is, they call it immersive Africa, which there's a whole lot of ports that they're going to take us to, and the other is basically feeding around to get around Africa to get back into the Mediterranean. So it's a little give and take on both of them. Definitely like the option where we're going to be stopping at a lot more ports in Africa. So that's nice.
When was the last time I was in Dubai? Was that that would be November of 23? No, was it 20? No, it was right after your heart attack. 22. Yeah. November of 22 was the last time I was there, I think. Did you get in trouble for the wrong reasons or bad reasons? Who's in trouble? I don't know what that's about.
Wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. KD's army of tourists sending 7,000 people into a port today. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, basically an invasion coming in to, like I say, even though they like the tourists, they like the tourism money. It's that many people into your town at one point in time is kind of an overrun.
Thankfully, this is a smaller ship,
Yeah.
so and I don't think we've ever had more than about 1,500 passengers on the ship. I mean, even though the ship can hold up to like 2,500, it's not been full.
No.
So why didn't they let people get off in Antarctica? Because they aren't allowed to.
Yeah.
And Royal Caribbean knew that when they when they did the marketing for this.
Yeah.
I heard about the upcoming cyber attack. No, I don't know what that is.
I have a little bit, not sure.
I'm not sure what that's in, what
Yeah,
Marines or CIA. I don't know what that's about. Nobody here is CIA. But we couldn't tell you if we were anyway. You've gone live for 90 minutes. Don't forget to take a break. I know. I'm thinking like we probably need to shut this down. So I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Emma, that you just started.
Yeah.
Whoop.
But it's going to be on.
Yes.
It'll be on the channel.
It'll be on the channel. You'll be able to see the whole
skim through it
thing after. Once I close this down, it'll take a while to process, and it'll go up on the thing.
But thanks for being here. We appreciate all of you being here.
And yes, we're streaming on YouTube as well. So if you're having if I don't, so it's going to take me some time to download this from TikTok because it's, again, 90 minutes. So it takes some time to do that, and then I have to make some cuts, and then I can re-upload it again because I'm not sure that they'll let me do the whole 90 minutes because TikTok has some rules about lengths of things, but I can get the whole 90 minutes up on YouTube. So it's Frugal Vagabond on both platforms. So if you want to take a look at it, it'll probably be up on YouTube before it's up on TikTok, but I will eventually get it up on TikTok. So it'll be in both places.
Yep. Thanks to everybody again on YouTube and on TikTok for watching.
Yes. Great time. Appreciate all the questions and all the interest and all the hearts. That's very nice.
Yes, thank you. Love y'all
Love
too. Thanks for answering my question.
All right.
I'm so curious. All right. Yep.
We're done then.
Yep.
See you guys later.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.